All right. Hello, Matt Brown here with Kevin Sullivan of the Orange County Register, the first newspaper photographer to do the podcast. Kevin, thanks for having time to be here in the tunnel, former bullpen.
My pleasure. Happy to be here. Looking forward to it.
Happy to be here, right, in the shade.
Living the dream.
Weather report, because Mike Trout does them. It's 94. It's going to be hotter than hell today. Are you going to be down in the well, or are you going to go up top with me?
I'm going to do a hybrid as usual. I'm going to sweat for an inning or two, and then I'll poke my head up and get the hell in the shade.
So you're working on your tan today?
Well, it's more of a burn. Irishmen don't tan.
Right.
We go straight to red. And I got a little bit of red from Father's Day at the pool, so still recovering. So maybe I'll be up the whole time.
Angel red today. You're going for a deep angel red.
Just on the chest.
On the chest. Great. All right. Short story, Kevin. How did you become a photographer?
I'll try and keep it short. I fell in love with photography in high school, was on the newspaper staff, moved to Southern California after high school, and took a photojournalism class at Long Beach City College, and kind of fell in love with the idea that I could get paid to take pictures. Became the editor-in-chief, did internships all over the country, got a lot of experience, went to San Jose State, got great mentoring there, the great Jim McNay. Brad Mangian was a huge influence in my life in college, and won the lottery a little bit, getting a part-time staff job at the Register straight out of college. Did a lot of networking in college, was asked to apply for my job. I felt pretty good about that. How could I pass up
That's a rarity nowadays.
Like I said, I realized I won the lottery.
Right.
And I had a lot of friends in middle of nowhere working at small papers, making very little money, and I was making decent money working part-time at a major metro daily. And I pinch myself every day because it could have been much, much different. Sure. So it was great. And I came at the perfect right time, right before the 2002 World Series, coming back to baseball. You know, I thought we were going to have World Series every year. Kidding aside.
Sure, right.
Brad Mangian made sure to remind me when I was there how lucky I was to get it so soon. I started December 2000. 2 years later, there was a World Series here, and there hasn't been one since. So,
baseball.
Yeah, it's a funny sport.
Now you're rare because you're actually a beat photographer for the Angels. I travel with the team. That does not happen. How did you work that?
Well, I'm still kicking myself every day sometimes that I made that happen, because that's a huge sacrifice on my family,
sure,
on time, on commitment. But ultimately, a couple years ago, I sort of got stiff-armed by Mike Trout at spring training, and realized that unless I try and build relationships at the park and try and be there all the time, they don't care who we are. They don't need newspapers. They've got a million avenues for
social media.
Yes, they've got their own avenues. Right. So why do they care who the Register is? And not that that's really changed all that much, but there's baby steps, and the staff recognizes me, the coaches recognize me, the players definitely recognize me. I don't feel like I'm getting as much attitude as I used to. A couple nods here and there, small things like that. It's a work in progress, but
that pays off. Huge.
It does pay off. I don't know how huge yet, but
it does. It does. If you're a complete stranger with these guys,
you have nothing.
No,
I agree with that.
If you are at the ballpark 5 days a week, you get a head nod. That is a major with these guys.
Right. No, I agree, and I feel that. And there's, it's a process, and I try and treat it like a beat as much as I can. And it's been a eye-opening experience, because unless you're in baseball, you don't understand the schedule, the demands. It's a crazy sport. Yeah. It's an insane sport.
I can never imagine being a baseball player. You have no family life. You have no time to do anything.
No, and everyone would trade their lefts,
right,
would trade their soul.
And their left soul.
Right, and their left testicle. And to do it, and I get it, the dream. And one thing I sort of regret a little bit is I never played Little League. I never played baseball growing up. My stepson played, and he was in All-Stars, and I kind of lived a little bit vicariously through him. But I didn't have that inherent love of the game. And I think that is a two-sided sword. It gives me a good distance, and it gives me a good perspective, I think. And yet, and I can still appreciate it, and I'm still learning. I'm still starting to love the game.
Right.
But a newspaper photographer's job is a lot different than yours.
Oh, yeah.
A lot different than the wire guys.
Yeah. No.
It's not that unsimilar to yours, but it's a lot. Much different demands ultimately.
Right.
But it's been a learning curve. It's been fun.
Right.
But yeah, 162 games is a lot. And even if I'm only going to 81 of them and a road trip here and there, it's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
It's a lot.
All right, so let's get into the meat and potatoes. Your favorite baseball lens, the lens you cannot leave home without.
Probably a 400 2.8. It's sort of the bread and butter. I do love my wide-angle lens, and I love the intimacy that wide-angle lenses bring to any situation. So like Rob Tringale, he makes you feel like you're in the dugout high-fiving Puig when he's in New York.
Right.
And not that I am on that level by any means, but I appreciate my wide-angle lens because I appreciate what it makes the viewer feel like and where it puts the viewer. So you couldn't shoot the game without a 400 2.8, but I also would not want to not have a 24 to 70 on my side as well. I see photographers come with only a long lens, and I'm always shocked at that. The wide-angle lens brings the viewer into the world and puts them right there.
Right.
Telephoto takes you to the action, but a wide-angle puts the viewer there, and I really appreciate that. So I wouldn't want to do without either of them.
So you started off with film. Now you're full digital. Do you miss film, or are you a digital guy through and through now?
I came up just at the end of the film era, so I wouldn't say I was a full film guy. I did shoot film. I processed color and egg in the bowels of the Shark Tank up in San Jose and for AP when I was in college. So I always say I'm the last person to ever hand process color and egg film. One of the last 25 on the planet, probably. For sure, on deadline. I don't miss it very much.
Okay.
I'm working on 8-year-old D3s as the newspaper world that I exist in.
I see that a lot.
So I might miss some aspects of those cameras because they were what they were.
Right.
And my old camera is good. It's still great. I love Nikon. So no, I don't miss it.
Okay. Favorite baseball stadium, the one you've been to?
Probably Fenway. I did an internship in the Concord Monitor long ago, my second one in 98, I think. And if you don't fall in love with Fenway when you walk in there, there's something wrong with you.
Absolutely.
If you're not even if you're not a baseball fan, it's like a church. It's tucked right down.
Ballpark. It's a cathedral.
Amazing. I mean, I sweat my backside off. I went there in August the first time, and it was unbelievable. I've been back a couple times since as a fan. A couple times for the Angels in playoffs. In fact, I've seen more walk-offs, I think, in Fenway against the Angels than I have at. Yeah. I think that's starting to backtrack a little bit. I've seen enough walk-offs here now, but Fenway's amazing. I've never been to Wrigley. Wrigley's high on my list. Baltimore is high on my list. I've heard that's the blueprint for modern ballparks, and it's on my short list.
Okay. But ballpark you wish you could have gone to that no longer exists. Knocked down. It's in the ground. Where you wish you could have gone?
Probably Yankee Stadium. I did every game of the 0-2 World Series run except for the first two in New York.
Oh.
A colleague of mine did that, and I came on afterwards and then started traveling. And so I never, ever made it to the old Yankee Stadium.
Okay.
And I went to the new one during playoffs a couple years ago, in 09 I think it was. And
not the same.
No.
Not the same.
And everyone said that, and so I would have liked to experience that. That's the main one I wish I had gone to, only because I was there shortly. And it was so close. It was so close.
Can you imagine yourself, like today, in Yankee Stadium, 1945, wearing a suit and tie, shooting a speed graphic at home plate?
Hell yes. Yeah, no, I like getting in. I would be anywhere I could. I love, like, Michael Zagaris, all of our heroes, one of my near and dear heroes. How that guy still works a game and where he gets to go and where he covers the game. And I wouldn't be surprised if he was on home plate.
He would be.
15 years ago, maybe he was. You don't even know. I don't even know. But yeah, I can certainly envision myself right there with the speed graphics.
Taking those lumps with the speed graphics.
Yeah, hell yeah.
God love you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why
would
not?
Be right behind the umpire.
Why not?
Favorite player you wish you could have shot? A moment in time, whether it was Lou Gehrig or Pete Rose, a guy you wish you could have gotten in front of your lens.
Pete Rose is high on the list just because he just seemed like he busted his ass all the time. Who else? Probably Nolan Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
Just because of the history of the Angels. Again, I didn't grow up in Southern California, so I don't have that history. But such a legend. Sandy Koufax, I met him very briefly at spring training a couple years ago, and just what a gentleman.
Right.
So probably those two, Sandy Koufax, Nolan Ryan, that'd be fun.
Can't go wrong either one of those guys.
Yeah, no, I mean.
All right. Favorite player to shoot now? Now, you're spoiled a little bit.
Very
because
spoiled.
you are here with Mike Trout, but your favorite guy, even guys that come through the ballpark here and there.
How can you not say Mike Trout? Generational player, every day. We are spoiled. I don't see how you don't say Mike Trout there. I mean,
We're spoiled.
we are spoiled. He makes it worthwhile coming to the park a lot of the time.
Sure.
Right? In the dog days of summer when
Right.
we're 16 games back or whatever that is.
And he's smiling.
He's smiling and still kicking ass and still wowing. Simmons, and Andrelton Simmons,
Yeah.
mind-blowing how good he is.
Right.
And as a spectator, in a lot of ways, the difference between him and anyone else I've seen play that position is amazing.
Right.
So he was totally off my radar. I had no idea who he was.
I think he has 3 hands. I don't know what he's doing.
And the longest legs, like
Right.
when he was out on the DL, you would say, "Oh, he would have got that one." Oh, and you don't want to crap on the guy that was replacing him, but he is he's like Mike Trout.
Right.
He's a space above. He's a whole level or
Right.
2 or 3 above. So that's amazing. And I wonder what other ball players are out there and other teams that if they were in my market, I would wow over that kind
Sure.
of thing. But I think we're pretty spoiled with Trout and now Simmons. Yeah,
Right.
2 of them. I mean, anytime you can put the word best next to a position and you have one of them and you can cover them every day, pretty impressive.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah, and it definitely makes you appreciate the game
Yeah.
and how it's played and how hard it is and how easy they make it look. And
Oh, yeah. Simmons did things in spring training that I wasn't sure could be done on a baseball field.
he's amazing.
Yeah.
The flips, just you see him warming up and practicing, and the flips behind the back and between the legs, and he's not afraid of anything.
Very natural.
Unbelievably fluid, most amazing. Yeah.
All right. A moment in baseball history you wish you could have been at, whether it was Jackie Robinson's first game or Lou Gehrig's last game or anything like that comes to mind. You go, man, that would have been cool to have been at.
The Bay Area series with the earthquake.
Oh, yeah.
Was that 80? What was that year? I forget what year that was.
89, right?
89.
That went from a baseball game to a news event.
Right. That would have been fun, I think. As a newspaper person,
Sure.
It sort of brings the whole thing
Right.
together.
It became from a Bay Area story to a world story, just
Right,
like
yeah,
that.
no one cared about the World Series before that except unless you were in California.
Right.
And suddenly it was a big deal.
Right, we're having an earthquake.
And it could have been so much worse. I mean, the damage, it was a big earthquake, and that ballpark held together. I mean, you think about how much worse it could have been necessarily. But that would have been an exciting game to be at for sure. I would have liked to do the Subway Series, the World Series. Brad Manchin talked about that as how fun it was going back and forth and
Right.
just the New York feel. That would have been fun.
All right.
So.
Okay, so that's what you wish you could have been at. Is there a shot you wish you could have back? Something you missed where there was the film went bad, the autofocus, you didn't even have your camera on you. Is there something you missed that still haunts you? I have a half a dozen.
I don't know about haunts. There's things that bug me. Right. Another benefit of the daily newspaper photographer is that you, as Mike Social loves to say, you got to turn the page, right? You can't. Every day's a new day.
Sure.
The new fish wrap comes out, and it's like, what's the story today? So it goes quickly. Probably one of the walk-offs in Fenway against the Angels in 08 or 09, I think it was. And I had put a high remote up right next to one of the Sports Illustrated guys, Johnny Iacona, I think, and just didn't fire it. Just kind of forgot it was there, and there was a walk off, and I'm shooting, and then I looked down at my chest and I see the button, and I wasn't hitting it, and that was kind of a bummer because it would have been a really nice picture. You know if it would have fired, you don't know, a million things could have gone wrong, but that was like, glad I spent the half an hour putting that remote up. That was quality time, but
Well, at least you know you didn't miss it because you never took it.
right, that's one way to look at it.
Right.
But no, it doesn't haunt me. It just makes me wonder.
All right. If you could play baseball right now, coach suits you up, what position are you taking?
what's the safest position?
Bullpen.
Bullpen
And not being
catcher?
called in.
Bullpen catcher, maybe. I don't know.
Come on, you're long and lanky. First base.
I can run fast. Maybe
Okay.
center field.
Center field.
One of the outfield positions.
Okay.
Hide me in a corner. Hide me in a corner.
Right field.
Yeah, hide me in a corner. I mean,
Right. Okay.
put me in, coach.
You're gonna hide yourself in right
Right
field.
There's nowhere to hide.
Right. There is nowhere to hide.
No, it's Major League
You
Baseball.
will be found.
But I can run fast.
Okay.
And I can catch. And we were. I had a great slow pitch softball team. We were champions several years in a row. That might have had to do some with our
Quality of opponents.
No. Female teammates that were.
Oh.
I had one national championship winner.
So you had ringers.
At UCLA. No, she was a friend. She's a friend. She got married yesterday. But yeah, it helps when you have Division I NC2A champions girls on your softball team.
Okay.
But so right field. I'm going
Right field. All right, you're commissioner for a day. What rule would you change in Major League Baseball?
One of two. Either the length of the season.
Interesting.
It seems
Okay.
ridiculously long, and I get it's
Is it long? I don't notice anymore.
when you and I both don't know what day of the week it is, you really appreciate how long it is.
Right.
And then for the pure bloods, that is sacrilege because the biggest thing about baseball is it's the length, it's
Right.
the time, it's the average. One game doesn't count. It's the how well you do over 1,000,000 games that really counts. That said, it just seems like it goes on forever. It just goes on forever.
How much you want to clip? 40 games? 20 games?
I'll leave that to Mike Sosha and the committee, but
You're the commissioner. You get the clip.
I would want to know how low could we go before people got really mad.
How about 120? It's a good number.
Sounds good.
Right.
Something that and the sort of the designated hitter. I don't have a whole lot of deep history in the old rules and the prior history of the game itself, but it seems like if you're going to play the game, you should hit the ball. You should have to be able to hit.
Oh, interesting. Weaver's going to be hitting a lot more, and
From a photographer standpoint, I appreciate having a real hitter in that spot. Don't get me wrong.
right, but you want everybody to play.
The other half plays,
Sure.
and a lot of the AL pitchers would like to hit.
Sure. Hector loves to.
Maybe give them an option.
Right.
Not that any manager would ever put him in if they had the option, but
Not a chance.
play the full game.
I'm sitting David Ortiz. We're going to throw.
David Price is going to hit in his spot.
Right. He probably hasn't hit since T-ball.
Right.
All right, so what baseball tips do you have for the novice? The mom at home that shoots her kid, or the guy who shoots for the Little League newspaper? What do you got? What tips do you have?
Baseball is the very, very, very fast sport. it's 3 minutes of action spread over 3 hours of nothing.
Yeah, that's right.
And
isn't that fun?
yeah, good times. And even if you know the game and you know the sport and you're on everything, everything can still go against you. So the guy dives the other way, the ball's hit the other direction, you get no play.
Sure.
The glove is in front of the face at the outfield. A million things can go.
Umpires, right.
Yeah, crappy pictures are everywhere.
So what are you telling the mom at home?
Always be ready. Always be prepared. Anticipate as much as possible. Anticipation helps immensely, and that means fast.
That's
probably
good
those two
stuff.
things.
That's very motivational too.
How about this? It's like my kids play Little League. Don't take a picture 5 feet away from the fence, through the fence. Get up to the fence and shoot through the little hole, for God's sakes. Because the picture 6 feet away from the fence and the player is another 10 feet past the fence, you're just taking a picture of the fence. Cell phones don't cut it.
No.
Get up to the fence and shoot through the chain link. For
Man
God's
it up.
sakes.
Get in there.
Right. If you're going to take a crappy picture, at least don't have a fence in the middle of it.
That's what we're going to do right now. We're going to man up, get out in the sun.
Are you?
And shoot some bait. No, I'm
No,
not. It's just a
you're going out.
podcast,
Right,
so
right.
they don't know that.
Well, I always plan big. I always come in with, full of gusto, and then I'm like, wow, it's 95. Let's find some shade.
Right.
So, and I haven't shut up that much this year, so it's a good time. Maybe I'll join you.
Please do.
And the best part is Lenny's here, so I might stick next to Lenny for a little while and get some good stuff from him.
Yeah. Kevin, thank you so much for joining me. This was great.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
Okay.